I've done tons of different videos on this channel about specific digital products that you can sell online, but today I want to teach you how to sell them. The first order of business is to decide what you're going to sell. It's easy to just pick a random product that you want to create and sell it, but before you do that, you need to figure out who your audience is and what products you could create to address their pain points. What product could you create to make your audience's life easier? If you don't already have an existing audience, ask yourself, what audience are you trying to reach and how could you help them? Skipping this step could be detrimental to your business, because even if you create a well-rounded, helpful product, it might not be essential to your audience. If you need help to determine your ideal audience, and yes, that means narrow down your niche, then definitely check out this other video that I posted earlier this week. I'll have it linked below. Now that you've determined the specific product that would serve your audience, it's time to create it. Now, obviously, the specific steps in this process would be determined on the product that you chose to sell. If it's a video course, obviously you would need to outline, film, and edit your videos. If it's an ebook, you would need to write draft after draft and then type it up digitally, maybe using a platform like Canva. But since I don't know the product that you decided was best for your audience, here are some questions that you can ask to help you get through this process. What will be the format type of your business? Will it be video, printable, audio, template, etc.? Will it be a one-time purchase or a subscription service like a membership? What steps do you need to create this product? Now that you know the format, list everything out you think you need to actually create the product from start to finish. This might only be one or two things, but if it's something more complex like a course, there are a lot of different elements to complete that product. Now, what do you need to complete each of these steps? Now that you've listed out everything you need to do, what do you need to be able to do them? Is there any equipment that you need, like a camera stand, lighting? Do you need to get a subscription to something like a website or a hosting platform? Do you need to buy a domain name for your website? Once you have this list, you can ask yourself, is this something I can rent or borrow, or is it something I actually need to purchase? This will make a huge difference when creating your product, because at the end of the day, most of us are on some sort of budget, so you have to keep this kind of stuff in mind when creating your product. Which really brings me to the next question, what are you going to charge for your product? You might have an idea from the very beginning of what you want to charge for this product, but it's really after the product creation, when you've already spent your time and your money and your resources towards the product, that you know exactly how much it's worth. You also need to research what your competitors are charging. You don't want to be the most expensive course out there, but even more importantly, what can your audience afford? Maybe observe them for a while, learn their spending habits, what kind of things that they buy themselves, so you know what they can actually afford to buy from you. Now that you've created the product, the next step is launching. This is actually going to be a whole video in itself, which I'll be posting next week, so definitely make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. But right now, I still want to give you some general ideas of how to get through this launching process. First up is beta testing. You can actually test out your product to a small number of folks that maybe you already have in your existing audience. You can give it to them for free, a discounted rate, or the same price you will everyone else in the future. There are so many benefits of doing beta testing, including feedback, testimonials, etc. Next up, you want to develop a sales funnel. If you've been in this type of business for a while, you're probably already building up an email list, so of course you can market to those folks as well. But you can also create a sales funnel that takes new subscribers through a series of email automations, which would include a lot of value, maybe some freebies, and eventually talk about your new product. Next up, you definitely need to create a sales page. This actually should probably come before all of these other steps. You need a main resource for people to learn about this product. Now, yes, of course you could have just a products page with an image, a price, and basic information about the product with an add to cart button. That could totally work. But when you lead somebody to this page, maybe through that email automation, for example, you want the page to sell it for you. As I mentioned, this whole launching process is going to be an entire video for next week, where I'll actually dive into what you should include in your sales page. So again, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Next in the launching process is to share on social media. If you have a small audience on social media, you might think this step is pointless, but trust me, it's not. I actually had worked so hard on my old Instagram and had grown it up to around 15 to 1600 followers, and then I switched niches, which was a whole nother mess I can talk about in a different video. So I started a new Instagram, and I think I only have around 50 followers at this moment, but 50 people, that's a lot. And yes, some of of them are my friends and family, but some of those people actually followed my Instagram because of the advice I've been providing here on YouTube. And so even though it might only be a small handful, that small handful might very much be interested in the products I sell. So even if it's a small audience, it doesn't matter. It is a community that you have built that want to know what you're offering. So make sure to tell them. Finally, in the launching process, you can of course run advertisements for both Facebook and Instagram. I know running ads can be an investment, so if you're not there, that's okay, but it's definitely something to consider, especially if you don't have an existing audience. You want to be able to reach people, and advertising is definitely one way of doing that. The great thing about running ads is you can create yourself a budget. So if maybe for the first couple of weeks you give yourself a small budget and you start seeing some return, then you could always raise your budget after that and just keep increasing your budget as you get more sales. Once you've launched your product, you might be thinking, that's it, my job here is done. But that's where you're wrong. There are so many things that happen post-launch, which again could be an entire video in itself, and it probably will be someday, but here are a few things that you might want to keep in mind after your product launches. First of all, customer support. Please do not forget customer service. It is extremely important. You hopefully just sold a lot of products, and so you need to be there to support your customers. They might have issues, concerns, questions, and you need to be there to address them. If you made enough money on your launch and this is too much for you, you could always hire a virtual assistant to handle all of your customer service. Next is occasional updates. Depending on the type of product that you created, there might be updates that you need to make over time. Maybe you got some really great feedback from somebody and you want to make a change in your course. Or if you are doing a course and you're educating on a specific platform, say you did a course about Notion or something like that, and then Notion has this really big update, well, you might want to include a little bonus video in your course correcting some information that is no longer relevant. Either way, once you launch it, it's not necessarily over. You need to make sure that you're doing regular updates and maintenance to your product. Finally, collecting testimonials. Now you've launched your product, it's out there for the world. You probably should be asking your customers if they enjoyed your product and if you could get a testimonial. This will not only benefit you for future sales, but also again, it's providing you great feedback so you know what you're doing right and maybe what you're doing wrong. Like I mentioned earlier, if you need help in determining your audience so that you create the right product, make sure to check out this video I posted earlier this week and let me know in the comments other videos you would like to see here on this channel. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!